Hello, gays and gamers. Coming to you as my alter ego, a guy who wears glasses. I slept so poorly last night that it is a miracle. I am upright and saying words to you, but here we are. Nevertheless, we persist. Am I right? This is not the video I intended to make. So I can check that off of my YouTube cliches. Because I did do some video blogging this week that I don't think I'll be posting. Just like clips of stuff I did this week, stuff I read, what I thought about it. It was a strange experience. It's a weird feeling to record some parts of your life and not record the other parts, because then it kind of creates two lives, one that you have a record of and one that you don't, and it sort of makes one feel fake or like less real than the other. I don't know if I could say which at this point, whether the documented life feels more real because you have a record of it or less real because you're doing it ultimately for an audience. It just is a weird project to like pull parts of your life out of your life and put them in this other thing. It was weird to watch back because it didn't feel honest. Not that the things we put on the internet have to be honest, and not that it was like that I was like lying in the vlog. Although that would be fun to just do vlogs that are just like, here's what I did today, and it's like absolutely not true. I will always think about my friend who told me that she used to write like fake diary entries in her diary of like stuff that absolutely didn't happen, to see if when she looked back on it later she would be able to tell the difference, and she couldn't. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It just feels like when you record some parts of your life and not others, you are privileging those parts, and that the omission of certain things is intentional even when not. It's weird to watch a video of myself being like completely upright and functional and verbal, and I don't know if I would go so far as to say articulate, but like certainly saying words to people, because that is just like such a small part of my daily experience. And like for every clip that is me like talking coherently about a book, there's like 20 hours of lying in bed or on the couch, wanting to read, trying to read, failing to read. Obviously I'm not gonna record that, but it is like such a big part of my life that it feels weird to create a record of my life that doesn't have that in it, even though obviously there are obvious reasons why it wouldn't be. And I guess it felt weird too because in my mind so much of the reason for this sort of video blogging venture is how poor my health has been recently. So it occurred to me that it might also make sense in this video to talk a little bit about why I am in my video blogging era, because it occurred to me that even though it makes a lot of sense in my head, I also have not explained in any way what is going on. Not that I necessarily know we're taking it one day at a time. But I said, I think in my last video, that the reason I made it was because I'm just like really bored alone in my house, and that is true. And the reason I am so bored alone in my house is that I recently dropped out of my grad program for several reasons, but one being I ultimately was too disabled to be in school full time. And I will be going back to some of my part-time jobs later this month, but I'm currently not working again, also due to being so disabled that it's not really feasible. So it has been a process of sort of realization and acceptance that there is not a lot that I have the energy for or the capacity to do besides things that are virtual. And that's something I think that's become more true over the course of the pandemic. I put a lot of time into my online spaces, my online relationships. I found a lot of friends there, and just had a really good time posting along with you all. But there also was always this like part of me that was like, well, this is temporary while I'm so sick or while we can't go outside. This is like this is a big help, but it's not, this isn't my life. And I think what we are realizing, by we I mean me, is yes, it is. At this point, I don't know that I'll ever get less tired than this, which is a huge bummer because how tired I am is extremely. And it doesn't always feel livable. But I think I just kind of have to stop waiting for things to change and start making a life where I am. And where I am is usually on the internet, because for whatever reason it takes less of my energy. I guess in some ways that makes sense. It's easier to like a post than have a conversation with someone. It's easier to respond to a DM if the norm is that you can wait a couple days to do it rather than someone who's like waiting on your text or your call. And a lot of my friends online are also disabled, so we have an understanding. But I am struggling is not the right word, but sort of working with this idea that I might ultimately just be a person who exists more comfortably on the internet than I do in real life. It is in many ways more accessible to me, to someone who has the illnesses that I do. It doesn't take as much out of me as many other things. There's a bug that is trying to drink my juice, but she can't have it. So I thought I would sort of explore new mediums for a couple of reasons. One is just that I watch a lot of video blogs from others, and I've always found, I think, almost any kind of like personal blogging really interesting and really helpful. I'm a kind of person who does a lot of research about how other people live and behave, and I always want to know what other people are doing and thinking and how they're working through things. I'm just like so interested in how other people spend their time, and I thought this would be an interesting format to try, both because I would like to branch out a little bit from the sort of blogging that I have been doing, just in the event that sites go down or platforms change. I think it's nice to have a couple different places where you feel like you can really come and hang out with friends on the internet. And I chose YouTube in large part because it doesn't involve writing. Which is not to say that I don't enjoy writing. I do enjoy writing. But I have very, I think, high standards for things that I write. I always want to edit them and add on them and cite a lot of sources. And again, I think it's just become sort of prohibitive because I'm just too tired to do a lot of that. I think there's a different version of me who does a lot more writing and writes like articles or books, or I know a lot of my friends have Substacks or like weekly newsletters, and that seems like a lot of fun, but I just cannot produce, I think, the amount of writing that I would need to have that be sort of my main way of chatting with people. And YouTube, although you do have to look at your face the whole time, which is not ideal, means that you can just sort of sit down and talk without a ton of preparation. Not to say that I do like outline my videos that are actually about stuff, but I just find it less effortful, which in many ways is the goal. So I thought it would be an interesting project, and I also wondered whether it might be good to sort of start building an archive, because one of my other symptoms that I've really been struggling with is brain fog and just like memory issues in general. I find it really hard to remember things or like keep track of time. I lose time quite easily. And I look back now on like the last 2 years of my life, in which I've been very disabled, and I don't remember a lot of it. Like people will tell me things, outings that we had or conversations that I had with them, and unless I like posted about it, I don't remember it. So I thought that it might be good to try and get to start recording so at least some elements of my life. Obviously not all of it. We're not doing the Truman Show today on the channel, but to start recording some things so that I don't lose all of it. But as I sort of discussed in the beginning of this video, the process of creating that archive, while very new, has been a little strange, at least stranger than I sort of expected, because I am no stranger to posting on the interwebs, but it is quite different to do it in video form. I don't think I really expected that. It produces this sort of like strange doubleness, this like split feeling between the things that I record and the things that I don't record. And this like feeling of performativity, even when I'm just recording like stuff that I do anyway. I didn't go out of my way to do anything different this week. So I don't know if that will change over time. This is certainly not me saying that I'm quitting on my second video, but I feel a little bit caught between the real, or I guess I should say the physical world, which I have found hostile in many ways, and in which I'm sort of, I don't know, I try not to inhabit that space as much because it is so painful and difficult. And then on the other hand, the virtual, and while I love all of my friends and my phone, it just is like a weird and unnatural experience to try and fit your life into a format like this. So I mostly just wanted to sort of name how it has felt, and I don't know, I'm still invested in this project because I really am trying to, I think, create structures that have longevity on the internet. Because I think for better or worse, I sort of live here now. And if I'm going to live here, I would like to be living a life that I enjoy, and not just feeling like I'm biding my time until the real world or the physical world magically becomes more accessible to me. I think we all know that's not very likely to happen. In fact, it's getting worse. So this is my not a vlog, anti-vlog. Some thoughts about why I'm doing this in the first place, which may be of interest and may not. In summary, when Anne Boyer told me to get out of the hole, I instead, I tried to get out of the hole, a couple years. But ultimately the hole was not traversable. I live in the hole now. I am doing interior decorating in the hole. I'm putting up signs that say, like, home sweet home, live, laugh, love. So welcome to where I live. I hope you're having a good time hanging out. And I will be back to talk to you at a later time.